Welcome back to the ECS video series. In the previous video, we covered how ECS works with health checks. In this video, we'll dive into integrating SSL with Amazon ECS, including certificate management, HTTPS termination, and best practices for securing ECS applications. Before we integrate SSL with ECS, let's quickly understand the difference between SSL and TLS. SSL stands for Secure Sockets Layer. It was the original protocol created to encrypt communication between a client, like a browser, and a server. Early versions such as SSL 2.0 and SSL 3.0 are now considered insecure and have been completely deprecated. TLS, which stands for Transport Layer Security, is the modern and secure replacement for SSL. TLS improves on SSL by using stronger encryption algorithms, better handshake mechanisms, and improved security guarantees. Today, when you access any HTTPS website, the connection is almost always using TLS, typically TLS 1.2 or TLS 1.3. So today, when people say SSL, they're almost always referring to TLS. Now let's talk about why SSL or TLS is actually critical, especially when you're running applications on ECS. SSL and TLS encrypt data in transit. This means that any data sent between the user's browser and your application cannot be read or modified by attackers while it's traveling across the network. This is especially important because modern applications constantly exchange sensitive information such as login credentials, session cookies, JWT tokens, and API keys. Without TLS, all of this data can be intercepted in plain text. SSL and TLS also protect your application from man-in-the-middle attacks, where an attacker secretly intercepts or alters traffic between the client and your server. Another important reason is user trust. Browsers clearly mark HTTP websites as not secure, while HTTPS shows the lock icon. For users, HTTPS immediately signals that the application is safe and trustworthy. Finally, SSL and TLS are not optional for production systems. Many security standards, compliance requirements, and modern browsers expect HTTPS by default. If your ECS application is public-facing, SSL or TLS is no longer a choice, it's a requirement. Let's understand what an SSL certificate actually is. An SSL certificate is a digital document that binds a specific domain name to a cryptographic key. It contains important information like the public key, domain details, and a signature from a trusted certificate authority. Essentially, this certificate acts like a digital passport for your website, proving its identity and enabling secure communication. Enables encrypted HTTPS communication between users and servers, meaning all the data exchanged is protected from eavesdropping or tampering. This ensures that sensitive information, like passwords or personal details, stays private as it travels across the internet. Verified and issued by a certificate authority, which acts as a trusted third party to confirm that the website or domain actually belongs to the organization requesting the certificate. This verification builds trust with users and browsers. Ensures data integrity and trust by guaranteeing that the information sent between the user and server has not been altered in transit, and that the server is indeed the legitimate owner of the domain. Users can see the secure lock icon in their browser and trust the site they're interacting with. Let's take a simplified look at how SSL and TLS actually work when you visit a website. First, there's the handshake, where your browser and the server agree on which encryption methods to use. Next, certificate verification happens. The server presents its SSL certificate to prove its identity, and the browser checks that it's valid and issued by a trusted certificate authority. Then comes the key exchange, where they securely exchange keys to establish an encrypted session. Modern TLS uses asymmetric encryption during the handshake and then switches to symmetric encryption for faster data transfer. Finally, encrypted communication begins. All data sent between the browser and server is encrypted, so only the browser and server can read it. This process ensures privacy and data integrity during your online interactions. AWS Certificate Manager, or ACM, is a fully managed service that makes it easy to provision, manage, and deploy SSL and TLS certificates for your applications. ACM supports both public certificates for your website and private certificates for internal use within your organization. One of the biggest advantages is automatic certificate renewal, so you never have to worry about certificates expiring and breaking HTTPS connections. ACM is tightly integrated with AWS services like Application Load Balancers, CloudFront, and API Gateway, allowing you to attach certificates directly to these services without handling private keys manually. This makes securing your ECS application simple, safe, and scalable. Let's take a closer look at where the SSL certificate is actually attached in an ECS setup. In AWS, SSL certificates are attached directly to the Application Load Balancer listener, usually on port 443 for HTTPS. This means the ALB handles all the encryption and decryption of traffic coming from the internet. ECS tasks and containers themselves typically do not have certificates attached. The ALB takes care of securing communication, so the containers can focus on processing requests. A single ALB can also host multiple certificates using server name indication, which allows you to serve multiple domains from the same load balancer. And in setups with CloudFront, certificates can be attached at the CloudFront distribution for edge encryption, protecting user traffic before it even reaches the ALB. Let's now understand what HTTPS termination means. HTTPS termination simply refers to the point where encrypted HTTPS traffic is decrypted. In a typical ECS setup, this termination happens at the Application Load Balancer, where the SSL certificate is attached. The ALB uses this certificate to decrypt incoming HTTPS requests from users. After decryption, the traffic is forwarded to ECS tasks, and this internal communication is usually done over HTTP. When CloudFront is placed in front of the ALB, HTTPS terminates at CloudFront first, and the traffic is then re-encrypted and terminated again at the ALB, creating two separate secure connections. Now let's look at HTTP to HTTPS redirection, which plays an important role in enforcing secure access to your application. This ensures that any request coming over HTTP is automatically redirected to HTTPS. This is typically configured at the Application Load Balancer by setting the HTTP listener on port 80 to redirect traffic to HTTPS on port 443. By doing this, you enforce secure connections and prevent users from accessing the application over an unencrypted channel. This approach is a common best practice in production environments. When CloudFront is placed in front of the ALB, this redirection is handled at CloudFront instead of the load balancer, and traffic reaching the ALB is already secured. Let's now walk through the complete HTTPS traffic flow when CloudFront is placed in front of an application load balancer. First, the user sends an HTTPS request to your application's domain name. This request reaches the nearest CloudFront edge location, where HTTPS is terminated and the SSL certificate is validated. CloudFront then forwards the request to the application load balancer, typically over HTTPS to keep traffic encrypted. The ALB terminates HTTPS again and uses its routing rules to select the correct target group. Finally, the request is forwarded to the ECS tasks, and this last hop is usually over HTTP inside the VPC. Here are some best practices for using SSL and TLS with ECS. Always use AWS Certificate Manager to provision and manage your certificates whenever possible. This avoids manual renewal and reduces operational risk. HTTPS should terminate at CloudFront or the Application Load Balancer, not inside containers, so your services stay simple and scalable. When CloudFront is used, keep HTTPS enabled between CloudFront and the ALB to ensure encryption across all network hops. Ensure that HTTP traffic is redirected to HTTPS at the internet-facing layer, either CloudFront or the ALB. Make sure your ALB listeners use modern TLS security policies to disable outdated and insecure protocols. Avoid embedding certificates or private keys inside containers, as this creates security and maintenance challenges. Finally, monitor certificate status and TLS-related errors to catch issues before they impact users. Now that we've covered the core concepts around SSL and TLS in an ECS architecture, let's move into the hands-on part and see how to actually set this up in AWS. For this demo, we'll continue using the same ECS Load Balancing branch. So there's no need to create a new setup from scratch. I've already created a VPC for this architecture. It includes 2 public subnets and 2 private subnets. These subnets are spread across multiple availability zones. For the public subnets, auto-assign public IP is already enabled. This allows internet-facing resources to receive traffic. We'll also reuse the same Docker image from the previous videos. The image is already built and pushed to Amazon ECR. So we don't need to rebuild or push it again. Next, let's configure ECS. Navigate to the ECS console. Go to Clusters. Then click Create Cluster. For this setup, we'll use the Fargate launch type. Once selected, go ahead and create the cluster. After the cluster is created successfully, move to Task Definitions. Click Create New Task Definition. Provide a task definition family name. Keep the launch type as Fargate. Select 1 CPU and 2 GB of memory. Next, give the container a name. Choose the latest version of the Docker image from ECR. Set 3200 as the container port mapping. Our Node.js application runs on port 3200. For resource allocation, set the CPU to 1. Set the memory hard limit to 2 GB. Set the memory soft limit to 1 GB. Use the same command for the container health check that we used in the previous videos. With these configurations in place, go ahead and create the task definition. Now that the task definition is created successfully, let's create a service. Select the launch type as the compute option. Set the desired task count to 2. Under networking, choose the same VPC. Select the 2 public subnets. Create a new security group. Set the inbound port range to 3200. Allow the source from anywhere. With these settings in place, proceed to create the service. Once the service is created, you'll see 2 tasks running. Their status should be healthy. If we open these tasks in the browser, you can see that both tasks are running successfully. Navigate to the EC2 console and go to the Load Balancers page. Click Create Load Balancer. Provide a name for the load balancer. Select the VPC and choose the 2 public subnets. Create a separate security group for this ALB. Set the inbound rule to allow port 80 from anywhere. Assign this security group to the ALB. Next, create a new target group. Select the target type as IP addresses, since we're using the Fargate launch type. Provide a name for the target group. Set the traffic forward port to 3200, where the application is listening. Enter the health check endpoint and proceed to create the target group. Go back to the Load Balancer console. Select the target group you just created. Now go ahead and create the load balancer. Go back to the ECS console and update the ECS service with the new load balancer. Select Force New Deployment. Scroll down to the Load Balancing section. Select the load balancer, the listener, and the target group. Then proceed to update the service. Once the service is updated and the new deployment is successful, grab the ALB public DNS name and access it in the browser. As you can see, the ALB URL is working. The next step is to point the ALB to our domain name and integrate an SSL certificate from AWS Certificate Manager. Navigate to the Route 53 console and go to the Create Hosted Zone page. Provide the domain name and proceed to create the hosted zone. Once the hosted zone is created successfully, update the name server records in your domain registrar. Navigate to the AWS Certificate Manager and request a public certificate. Enter your domain name and also add the subdomain starting with www. Proceed to request the certificate. Next, create the required DNS records in Route 53 for certificate validation. Wait for a few minutes until the certificate becomes active. Before integrating the certificate with the ALB, update the inbound rules for the load balancer. Add an HTTPS rule that allows traffic from anywhere. Now, let's add a new listener rule for the ALB. Click Add Listener and select HTTPS as the protocol. Select the target group for the traffic. Choose the certificate we just created. Finally, go ahead and create the new listener rule. Next, we create alias records in our hosted zone to map the domain name to the ALB public URL. Click Create Record and enable alias. Select Alias to ALB, choose the region, and then select the ALB. Proceed to create the alias record for the root domain. Follow the same steps for the subdomain. Now, let's access our domain name via HTTP and HTTPS. As you can see, we can reach the ECS tasks using both protocols. However, in a production system, HTTP access should not be enabled. All traffic should always be redirected to HTTPS. So next, let's configure that redirection. Navigate to the ALB console and select the HTTP listener rule. Click on Edit Rule. On the Edit Listener page, set the default action to redirect to URL. Set the protocol to HTTPS and the port to 443. Go ahead and save the changes. Now, if we refresh the HTTP URL, you can see that it is automatically redirected to HTTPS. This confirms that the ALB is performing HTTPS redirection successfully. Alright, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. In the next video, we'll dive into advanced ALB features, which will be very useful when working with ECS. If you found this video helpful, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.